Good morning, everyone. Welcome to historic Pimlico. And as you saw in that intro video, we are edging closer to this year's renewal of the Preakness Stakes. Only a week and a couple more days, Keith. Are you getting excited?
Yeah, a little bit. It hasn't quite settled in yet, but I'm sure the pressure starts to mount for me and my buddies. We all kind of go over the morning lines, go over the race sprint. A couple guys come in, we bounce some stuff off of each other. We want to make sure we got it right for the fans for Black Eyed Susan Day and Preakness Day with those odds. But yeah, that's when it really starts getting cranked up. At Sunday when those entries come out.
Yeah, absolutely. Pressure is on, but looking towards you to guide us in the right direction here. But let's kick things off with a wonderful betting offer from First Bet. Every bet you make at Express Bet on First Bet gains you an entry to possibly win a $20,000 bet on Preakness 146. And as we are edging closer to the historic middle jewel of the Triple Crown, you better make sure that you got a couple of entries hopefully going for you. And as you can see it here, Preakness is coming up. In Lightning Round, we'll discuss the developing field. We certainly have plenty of horses coming in, a couple of fresh horses coming in. And of course, Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit is still on course to join us as well. Of course, all eyes will be on trainer Bob Baffert to get his eighth win here, making it a historic eighth, currently tied for top honors there. As we'll move on to today, the Pick 6 has a wonderful carryover coming up to $10,670 in the pot, and that starts here in race 3 as we got 8 races on the card. The Rainbow Pick 6 starts in race 3. Do go to pimlico.com to check out my selections, as well as Tim Tulloch. He might not be joining me in the afternoon, very busy with his other job regulating the backside, but he is putting up his tips for every single day, so you want to make sure to check those out as well. As we'll talk about the current condition of the track, we aren't on the turf, but the main track is blistering fast.
Yeah, unfortunately off the turf today, but hopefully we'll be back at it soon. And the main track is fast. Track playing fair. Things the first couple days we talked about, a little bit of a speed edge. I think things evening out a little bit the last couple racing cars, but really nice day. Some clouds out there, sun's poking through, temperature 57, a little chill in the air, but all in all, a good day for racing.
I was going to ask you, how is the weather outside as you are perched on that beautiful outdoor set with the track in the background?
Yes, I got a very good view. When I turn around here, it's one of the best views in racing. I've always, I've kind of grown up out here on this little terrace box. I learned a lot from a lot of degenerates. I love it. It was a lot of fun times as a youngster hanging out here, and yeah, it just brings back a lot of memories.
Yeah, my favorite part is when I'm outside. I get to turn around and see the horses warm up before each race, so I can make a couple of notes and compare to when I see them next time out. And as you can see, it's just a beautiful view. Who doesn't want to be at Pimlico Racecourse, enjoying the atmosphere and, of course, all the action on track? And hopefully, you and me are going to point people towards a couple of winners today. Let's get started here.
Okay.
First race on the card is claiming 16,000, and of course, the start of the late pick 5, 12% industry low. Takeout starts every day in the first race, so you know where to start your day off, hopefully with a winner here. And like I said, go to pimlico.com as well for my selections and Tim's selection for the other races if you are constructing your ticket here. 6 furlong the distance here for this claiming 16 event for 3-year-olds and upwards, non-winners of 3 or 3-year-olds here. And Keith, let's start with your top selection here. The number 4, Warm Sunny Breeze. He returns to the level he won at 2 starts back, at a distance that he seems to be enjoying just a touch better than possibly the 5 furlong. Most likely is going to be the main pacemaker in this field.
Yeah, the first eighth of a mile maybe between he and You Can Never Tell, the horse in the rail, going to really kind of maybe be a big factor for how this race is going to turn out. I think Warm Sunny Breeze is right back in the right spot. Almost last time out looked like a kind of a workout. That race was much too tough. That field was very, very strong. He's a 3-time winner. The rest of them here are 2-time winners. Yes, he is a 3-year-old. I think he's in good form. Goes a couple of races now off the claim for Jerry Robb. I think he's going to zip right to the front with the X-Man. Going to have to improve a little bit. I'm projecting improvement here for this horse dropping back to this condition.
Yeah, I use the number 6 fugitive on top. Do you think this 4-year-old is going to take a fair bit of money
Hmm.
here? But is getting a fast track, making his Pimlico debut, gets £5 off with Charlie Marquez, and might just get a beautiful stalking spot from that outside gate.
Yeah, and if things heat up between the 1 and the 4 early, he's just going to be lurking there at the quarter pole. Only knock on Fugitive, he kind of likes to stay on that left lead. He just kind of makes a
Yes.
steady progression. He's a little snaky kind of through the lane sometimes, but his figures certainly work. I mean, his numbers, if he matches up to that higher 60 number, he's going to be tough to beat. But let's take a shot. Warm, sunny breeze can kind of escape a duel, maybe get clear around the turn and hang on late.
Yeah, I like that. I use the number 2 New York one underneath as well. But as you mentioned, Fugitive, indeed staying on that left
Hmm.
lead isn't as encouraging. So I hope he will be able to give himself yet another chance by
Hmm.
switching in due course. As we'll move on to the second race of the day, which is the start of the early pick 4 sequence. And Keith, I was looking at your ticket this morning for the early pick 4. I love the gutsiness of this ticket and how you've played it.
Well, these races weren't easy. And then we got thrown a curveball, right? So you went from that 92-mile-an-hour fastball. You're looking at it, you're liking that pitch, and then all of a sudden they snap off a curveball to you. What do? I go 5 deep to get you started. 2, 5, 6, 7, 12. We'll get singles in races 3 and 4 with the 4 in race 3. Race 4, we're going to single the 5. I'm crying no more. Very good last time out for Kieran. And all in the last. You give me a Stone Cold winner in the 5th, I'd like to have it. I think you've got a really, really spread there in that maiden special weight for the 3-year-old fillies. $25 ticket. We'll see. Let's hope we get through the first leg.
I mean, I hope for your sake that that's the case as well. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that first leg here. Maiden claiming 40,000. We are off the turf, so
Hmm.
now going to be 5 furlongs sprinting on the main track. Meaning we had a video spotlight, but unfortunately a couple of the
Hmm.
turf horses have scratched being on the main track here. Let's start with your top selection here, Keith. The number 7 Goosing, if I say that correctly. Carol Cedinho take the ride, so make that Carol Cedinho instead of Kevin Gomez. And Merriman trains, and this is going to be his second try
Hmm.
at this level here. Must admit, to me, didn't show that much in that debut.
Yeah, he was my top selection on the turf because of the breeding, that bottom side. Halloween Fun. This horse is a half or yeah, I believe to a grade 1 winner on the turf, and another one in Zvindal. But turf is another day for guising. But, and we're going to get Carol Cedeno. So Gomez sticks with Ferris Allen's horse to 3. So that kind of worries me a little bit. But he didn't run terrible. He was a little bit maybe green behind horses early, and he finished up quite well. He was off the rail every step of the way on a track that was favoring the inside. There is some speed to target, and talking about the gallop, he got some experience. He's got a little bit of late punch to him. I'll stick with him because he's going to be a good price, and DeShackled is 0 for 16. I'm not going to fall for that. He beats me. His speed is going to be dangerous, but he rode the best part of the racetrack last time as well.
Yeah, I try and beat the number 2 Disshackled myself as well. Although he did duel prolongedly
Hmm.
that day, taking a fair bit of steam out of him, and then kind of couldn't sustain enough to be able to overturn Magic Mule. But perhaps coming back here, a lower draw, he can just kind of move forward and sit off it. But I'm going to use the number 5 Billingsgate. I
Okay.
think he might just be quick enough to get his nose in front here after a couple of strides. Broke well last
Hmm.
time out here at Pimlico at this level, was allowed to move forward by Russell. Ended up dueling with Frosted Indian around the turf. Got put sharply on the rail by Frosted Indian. Frosted Indian kind of like moved in on him, and that was kind of, that was a bit of an experience for
Yeah.
him. He still fought on and then tired. So I think if he gets a bit more of a clean trip today, possibly without any horses leaning in on him, Billingsgate, I know 6-1 morning line. I know we're going to
Yeah.
get different prices
Right.
being on the main track, but if I get any value, I think the 5 Billingsgate might be interesting.
Hmm.
Let's quickly mention the number 12 as well that both of us use. Victor Rosales takes the ride on Determined Focus
Hmm.
for Phil Schoendahl.
Yeah, just a little bit of a break. This horse showed promise going back to October of 20 on the turf. Dirt race after that wasn't bad, and then I don't know what happened on that drop down. The 25 was bet down to 5-1, bumped at the break, and must have been completely taken out of focus there. Just didn't run a step. Given plenty of time to freshen. Very sharp work up at Fair Hill. Phil Schoenthal now with horses up there at Fair Hill. Yeah, the 55 mid 50 number works for me. I think he's got a little bit more speed in the tank as well. So a little freshening, a little bit kind of a new face in here for me. I'm going to leave him in there, especially as part of my early pick 4 as well.
Yeah, I wrote off that last race and hoping to see somewhat of that promise that he showed at
Mm.
that maiden special weight level on the main track to back to hopefully come back here and run a decent race. As we'll move on to the third race on the card here. Nice starter allowance event, Mauen 16. Also the start of the Rainbow Pick 6, of course,
Mm-hmm.
at $10,670. That's already in the pool. It's a great starting point, and hopefully my ticket can guide you in the right direction as well. I start too deep in this, so I'm actually trying to beat your number 4, which I know is your single, For Love of Country. Is going to be very, very tough to beat. I mean, a career best last time out, used a bit of momentum to move forward. He really, really looked impressive there, taking the lead and then just kicking clear. Now did get DQ'd, but he just took control of that race in dominant fashion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using number 2, Fast Cash. He is going to have to stay close, but I think there'll be a little bit of speed in here for him to set it up and come with a late run. So perhaps I can get somewhat of a price. But then my single does come in race number 4, 5 furlongs on the main track here. I use the number 5, Cry No More. Kieran McGee, unexposed, second try at this allowance level. Of course, he's a main track only, bit of a softer field. Now we're off the turf. Plenty of speed. Carol Cedino, Kieran McGee, that team has just look at their stats right now for Pimlico. 55% winners together. I mean, I'm hoping that that stat is going to work in my favor here. And then in race 5, I spread like you did, Keith. That's a very, very tough maiden special weight for the fillies. Looking forward to it, though. I used the 2, the 5, the 6, the 7, and the 8. And then for the rest of the card, I go a little bit spready. I used the 1, the 2, and the 7 in race 6, the 4, the 8, the 10 in race 7, and the 1, the 2, and the 4 in race 8 for a total ticket of $54 flat, which I think is pretty justified with that nice carryover that we have on offer. So let's hope we'll get through the first couple of legs where I go a little bit skinnier to then get to the deeper field and hopefully unearth a price. So third race here, Mauen 16, the distance, 3-year-olds and upwards. A nice optional claimer starter allowance here. And we'll start with the number 4, For Love of Country. Do also have a video spotlight of that career best performance up at Parks. You see him there. He wasn't in front at the beginning, kind of moved his way up there to start moving forward here. And it's kind of, no looking back from here. Just moves up and takes them all the way.
Yeah, I kind of got back to showing a little bit more forwardness in this particular race. He shows it back on the page. First off, the claim there for Jamie Ness and company was real keen early, and sometimes that trip is tough in between horses, but the jock did a very good job of getting this one to relax. And boy, when he asked him to respond, he responded top of the stretch and was dead game. A little drift there at the wire, but he's focused, stays on his correct lead, holds firm. He's a horse that's got some back numbers. It looks like when it was disqualified from purse money, I read that it was ineligible for that particular race. So something maybe from the claim, the time from the fairgrounds, I'm not sure. But anyhow, 87 buyer, he may come down a little bit off of that. If he still does, he's a winner here with a trip, I think, just off the pace. I think he prompts the issue of Galatians. I think Galatians is fresh. Was getting better prior to the layoff. The only conditioning. Some of these horses that were at Laurel, you want them to go long. Has he been able to get enough bottom underneath of him in the morning? I think he's going to be a pace factor a ways, though, here at Galatians. But For Love of Country, that was a pretty dominant performance over a horse that had been running close to 90 buyers in previous races. So that was that Mr. Thrifty horse is pretty good up there.
Yeah, very dominant performance indeed. I used the number 1 Galatians in third as well. I think Damon De Lodovico, when he gives his runners a break, sometimes they just come back fresher and come back swinging. And Galatians has stayed the distance before. I do hear what you're saying. Does he have enough bottom underneath to see out the Mauen 16? I think he'll probably move forward from a touch bit of a break. I feel like that's mostly the case with the De Lodovico runners. But I use the number 2 Fast Cash. Anthony Ferrier has just recently gotten back into form here at Pimlico. Of course, it was tricky training at Laurel Park with the timings and everything. But Fergal Lynch gets aboard this 4-year-old colt. I think he's going to have to stay close. But if anyone is going to put him in the right position here, it's Fergal Lynch. So I'm trying to just be the heavy favorite that's most likely going to take the majority of the money, and deservingly so. For Love of Country, to me, definitely the horse to beat in this field. As we'll move on to the 4th race, a nice Maryland-bred allowance race here. 5 furlongs on the dirt once again. Start of the late pick 5. No carryover for that today. We see this a little bit similarly. It's always good to look in the same direction here. The number 5, Cry No More. He is my single on
Right.
my Rainbow Pick 6, and I know he's a single on your early Pick 4 as well, Keith.
Yeah, I was impressed by his last race. We talked about his debut. He's only run 3 times. His debut was against the grain of the racetrack, just faded a little bit. I guess a good horse, Johnny Sack and company. They were okay. Beat Sabius, who went down. We talked about that. Went down to Keeneland and beat a big field at a short price in a maiden special weight event. Loved the effort last time. Airport was coming off of a little bit of a break, but he was competitive in some stakes company too. So cry no more. Good figure, positional speed. Man, I think Kieran was loving this when this race came off the turf. So I think right to the front. If somebody wants to get game and try to go in front of him, I think he's got the ability to just sit like he did last time and make a move into it. I don't see anybody with a move from the back of the pack that can maybe get him like he was caught last time.
Yeah, Cry No More, I think he's certainly going to try and go to the front here. He's projected to have the majority of the pace advantage early. So I use him on top as well. Nautical Nature I use underneath. Perhaps I thought he was going to be stronger coming back on the turf there. But Mice and Men, Dale Capuano, you have in your exacta. Perhaps last time out just got tired there being asked to move forward, but couldn't really sustain. I must admit, a little bit disappointed in that run that day. I thought he would do better, but if you look back throughout his tries, has been trying at this level for a couple of times now and done so decently enough. 2 seconds.
Yeah,
I'm going to take a chance here again.
He looks like the legit closer if you can get one at the 5/8 of mile distance. He'll be able to save ground. He kind of got eliminated last time. You saw the short comment jostle early. I've been chasing this horse, trying to connect with him. We keep zigging and zagging, but a clean trip, and I think he picks up a piece in here.
Yeah, I hope so as well. Both of us look towards the outside too. Sky's Not Falling. Michael Trobetta, Victor Carrasco. That third early in his career in the Hansel Stake would make him interesting here. That 65 buyer on the main track, very wide in the Maryland Million Nursery, and just kind of struggled to close that day. Then ran on the turf and now back on the dirt again.
Enough faith to keep him into this race on the main track, but he's got to improve off of that if he's going to beat Kieran's horse, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Kieran's horse is the horse to beat, but I'm trying with a bit more of an outside horse coming in here with perhaps an interesting form line, but definitely has kept the right company, I feel, in the past in comparison, and we'll see how he fares here today. As we'll take a quick break here before we get back with that incredibly intriguing maiden special weight.
And they're off. Second in the two-pap. Ground off her inside. Race. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Pimlico Racecourse. Naomi Tucker, Keith Fustel. We're on the 5th race on the card today. Wonderful maiden special weight coming up. 6 furlong the distance, 4 3-year-old fillies. Couple of first-time starters, so really does require you to dive in deep. And Keith, you landed on the number 2, Arrest Warrant, a filly by Into Mischief. Down broke the maiden over a Muddy Mound at 8th, and her half-bro 5-star General did win at grade 3 level, also going along on the main track. But she makes her debut sprinting here.
Yeah, she does. The Into Mischief's all right, 15% first time out. This one's going to inherit the inside post with a scratch of Stir Crazy, who's going to draw a lot of play in here for Ben Perkins. Yeah, the Into Mischief was kind of caught my eye. And 2 for 10 with the firsters here in Maryland. I think in the maiden special weight category the last couple years is Michael Stidham. This is a bit of reach. I like the work pattern here, the schedule. They've kind of stayed right on it. I like that, the regularity with those workouts. Yeah, this is a little bit of a reach. I don't know. You're going with the 6, right? Mountain Lily.
Mountain
All right.
Lily. Yeah.
Let's hear your reasons why.
Well, her Grand Dame Lovely Raphael won on a second start and was a grade 2 winner going long. But Mountain Lily, I'm taking a chance here. Carpe Diem, Mark Reed. Carol Cedinho, love Carol Cedinho on a young horse, giving them a good experience here. And just blistering works for that 6 furlong in comparison to some of these coming in here with a little bit slower work and bred to go the distance. I'm taking a shot on a filly that might just be a little bit precocious in comparison. Some of the classier fillies that coming in here might just need a run done to then really start showing their true potential. But also, 12-1. I'm trying to take 12-1 morning line. I think it's going to change because, as you mentioned, the number one Stir Crazy isn't lining up here. I thought she would be very tough here, even though she was drawn on the inside. But you used the number 5. Hope Has a Name underneath for you, McMahon. Third start here. Both starts decent enough to me. If any of these fusses jump up and run a 60 buyer, Hope Has a Name has definitely got her work cut out for her.
Yeah, I mean, her first 2 races were respectable. You see Street Loot in there, right? That was a triple key race, the race prior to the layoff on October the 14th. So she's out of good fields. There were some good 2-year-old filly maiden races at Delaware that she comes out of. The Lasicus goes on. She's dialed in, can get horses to win early. Look at the work coming in, 47 and change, breezing out of the gate. And Hugh McMahon, a little sad. He's 4 for 5 in the money with 3-year-old maidens coming off of this type of layoff, plus 180 days over the last couple of years. So that's good enough for me. She's got some experience here. I'll use her.
Yeah, I mean, there's just plenty that you can make a case for here, including the number 8, Sonetta, Jeremiah O'Dwyer, Philippi Tappet. Also a very fast work here at Pimlico, 48 flat coming into this. Her dam Indian run was with Asmussen and won on her second start, a 60 buyer. None of her siblings have won first time out, though. Fulbro Tapmaster won on her third start. Just a couple of her family that were with Steve Asman perhaps just weren't up to his level. And very intriguing to see how Sonetta will fare on this circuit.
Yeah, and the mare was pretty quick. I know she only ran 3 times, but she had some pretty good gate speed. She could get out there and whistle. So I'm going to use that one in the mix. And O'Dwyer had a firster win the other day at a square price, and he's been pretty good with his in the maiden special weight category, the 2-year-olds, the 3-year-olds and up, so, but not uncommon for him to pay a little bit of a price first time out of the box.
Yeah, I like it. I use a 7 Wicked Hop myself as well. Of course, Graham Motion. Damn Hopfen. She was an out-and-out sprinter. She won over 5.5 furlong, and she was second in the Maryland Juvenile Filly Championship. So it's an intriguing family, including the fact that Graham Motion also trains. Of course, we always tend to think Graham is better a second time out, but he can get them going if in the right field.
Yes, it's interesting. You know, you look, the lone sibling in the race was a 2-time winner, but broke its maiden, I think, for 8 down at Tampa. So they must be thinking a lot more of this filly here, this Mosler filly. They spent $30,000. Bred by my man Gary Ridgely and Randy Ridgely, so 2 of the best breeders that I know of in Maryland. So, yeah, why not? They've got I think a 2-year-old also waiting in the wings as well. So we'll see what happens with Wicked Hot. You got Lynch first time out. Works are steady. Nothing glaring, you know, really grabbing your eye, but a capable barn. We know that.
Yeah, very capable indeed. No, this is a fun race. I'm looking forward to this 6 furlong race coming up, race 5. As we'll move on to the 6th race on the card for fillies. Condition nickel claimer here, Malin 16 the distance, and you landed on the number 2 Parched Ghost. She is stretching out to a Malin 16 for the first time in her career, has shown good enough sort of progressive figures to be able to move forward. I was wondering if she was going to enjoy stretching out, but I also think possibly that they're just trying to get her back to her winning ways again.
Yeah, this race is tricky. I think Shaq's Hidden Gem, yes, she is jumping a condition, but she might just got sent. We've seen the Frock Barn striking with some long shots. I want to see how far she can go on the go-go back. She's got shots, but I mean, I think they're just going to go ahead and send the 7. I might think I'm going to use her to stick around for a piece. But Parch Ghost, another one. Maybe she is just a one-run sprint type, but she's steadily progressing numbers-wise. She's doing okay. She's a trier. She's got a sibling that's won a couple times going long. Why not? I think Hoss Kitten's going to get the jump on her around the turn. I think Hoss Kitten's the horse to beat here for Ricky Silliman, who's had a very good meet thus far, but it's that last little 16th for Hoss Kitten. She's gone up the pen in those 2-turn races, trying to seal the deal. Maybe she can do it today. She's going to be a shorter price. So I'll go 2765 here. And Postino's Secret, probably your best sustainable run, I would think.
Yeah, I actually use a completely different horse than you have in your top 4 here. The number 1, Olive's Bumper. She has a win over 7 furlong under her belt. I just like the fact that there's some recency on her form there, and has run over Mount 16 at Delaware in the past and did so creditably enough. Now, she's going to have to probably get a nice ground-saving trip and be comfortable relaxing going this distance, but to me, worth a shot here in a field that I feel, just a couple of fillies coming in looking to regain their form once again. So, yeah, interesting field. I'm taking a shot with the number 1, but very much like Parched Ghost as well. And as you mentioned, the number 7 for the Frog, Shaq's Hidden Gem, I think they're going to send. That's their tactic there, and that's probably going to be her best chance of getting the spoils here in the 6th race. As we'll move on to the 7th race of the day. Nice optional claimer second level event here. 5 furlongs on the dirt once again. So do make sure that you take out all the non-runners here today. Keith, you land on the number 8 here. Which is Paisley Singing, also Charles Frockles. Now, we know the Frocks, of course, train here at Pimlico and tend to do very well here. Make the rider Javian Toledo, but this is a very, very game filly. She has early clip, and as I said, she's been working here at that home track and comes in here with quite a blistering work, 45-2. When have we seen that for the last time?
Yeah, I'm telling you, we've got Toledo to ride, right, for Paisley Singing. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a reunion of some of these fillies. I mean, it's Gifted Heart, Paisley Singing, Hydra, very similar styles. I mean, it should be a close finish, giving a pretty good break for these horses in this race. I just think I think Paisley Singing is going to be the one that just sits that perfect trip just off of it, because I see Gifted Heart going. Hydra likes to be forward. Those two maybe get engaged, and it's going to be a grinded out kind of finish, I think, between those top 3.
Yeah, I use Hydra on topper, but you're right. There's just a couple that have a lot of early speed in here, but you have to. 5 furlong contents, you want to be fast from the gates. Hydra is going to jump from gate 6 with all the scratches on her inside, which I think can work. She's just so tough, out and out sprint, where 1 over 5.5 furlongs, 2 and 3 starts back, and only did so by being incredibly tenacious. I don't know if you still want to have a look at the number 1's video, Virginia Beach, which was the Tropical Park Oaks, which of course is on the turf. She does stay in here for Michael Trombetta.
Yeah, and she's got a race on the dirt. You know, that was okay at Delaware, coming back on a break from March to September. We're going to show this race. So, yeah, this is the race on the 26th, right? That we've got. Look who she's up
at
against.
Gulfstream Park.
Vigilante's Way, More Than Unusual. These are pretty good films. We saw Vigilante's Way here, run third, right, on the grass for Shug. But a little middle move, going a mile and a 16th, and maybe she's just a little bit better suited at a shorter distance. 5/8 of a mile against this group, kind of down inside. Man, she's going to have to show me a little bit more positional speed on the dirt. So I'll watch her this time. But she looks like she's got some talent, just kind of finding the right niche for her.
Yeah, and I think this is interesting that they left her in. And as you mentioned, she has a couple of dirt races under her belt that work for her there. If you go back at that allowance event at Delaware last time out, where she finished 5th, she was on the speed and tried to make her mark, couldn't sustain. So I think it's very telling that Michael Trombetta opted to keep her in here. Perhaps they just want to get a run underneath her. Also, if I haven't seen her since December last year, it'll be good to see how she appears here in the paddock. I think that's quite telling as well. But Michael Trombetta is capable at getting horses ready to go off after a bit of a layoff. He's got himself quite the nice setup at Fair Hill, as well as a string here and at Laurel. So definitely very capable at jumping up with a winner. What do you think of the number 4 Gifted Heart coming in here for Phil Schoenthal?
Yeah, Gifted Heart took right to the mud last time, right? Is she a little bit better on that wet surface? She's game. She was game as could be. She had some trouble 2 races back. We used her in the exactas last time, called her a good price. I don't know if she's going to be quite that high today. She's going to be a little bit lower, maybe in that 3.5 to 2 range when it's all said and done. But she's a battler, loves this distance. This is going to be a heck of a horse race.
Yeah, exactly. I think that Gifted Heart, this is kind of her distance, that 5 furlong. I do know that she had a wind operation last year as well, so perhaps just cutting back to the shortest distance as possible. 5 furlong is going to suit her wonderfully here with trainer Phil Schoenthal once again. As we move on to our final race of the day here, race number 8, 5.5 furlongs this time. I mean, we have a lot of sprint races today. It's definitely a fair bit of fun here. Maiden claiming 25,000. I go with the number 2 Lifespan in here. Second start for trainer Jose Corrales. She improved and she showed some return of that form that she showed earlier in her career. I'm hoping there's going to be a bit of pace for her to kind of make her move in.
And it's just a guess on the pace, isn't it? The other 3 left, they're first-time starters. I don't know. Take out the 3 Super Boom and the 5 Francis X. So Super Boom was going to draw a ton of play. Lifespan, she's had 13 starts. Naomi, I mean, he's had 13 starts.
Yeah, but with a new barn now. New
barn. Mitchell Shades of Grey came back and ran okay at this level. I think ran a 45 buyer. I'm going to take a little bit of a leap here with the one dashing circles, at least by City Zip, who I know can get a horse. They win first out of the box about 15%. The mare was good, dash, 4 for 5 on the dirt, I think, with a stakes win in there. Training at Charlestown, interesting. They've a later horse right to get started, a 4-year-old, a lot of works under its belt. Maybe they want to kind of win and lose. We'll see. I don't know, but enough to come down here and venture down to Maryland. Figgins, he's okay with the firsters. We haven't seen him run a whole lot lately here, but I'll take a little leap with the one dashing circles.
And
Not much to go on.
I mean, yeah, you're going with the first time starters here. The number 1 dashing circle and the number 4 drive by layoff. Of course, a veteran trainer in Hamilton Smith certainly can jump one up as well. As the last race 1426 for you, 2146 for me. I guess we go with the same horses in here.
Yep.
As we'll finish things off here with a last round of lightning round. Let's have a look at who's currently leading the jockey standings here. Carol Cedinho, 10 wins, 2-length advantage to Javier Toledo. But this jockey race is really warming up.
I tell you, it's going to be tight down to the wire. We'll see. Carol Cedeno teaming up with what you were talking about. Kieran McGee at a really, really hot clip, and she rides some for Mark Reed. She's riding well. Toledo Marquez, you've always got to worry about the bugs here in Maryland. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting little race.
It definitely is. Love to see her on top. She's a terrific rider that has shown very, very capable at winning at all the different tracks here in the Mid-Atlantic. So glad to have her riding here at Pimlico once again and doing so well. As you mentioned, teaming up with Kieran McGee and doing terrifically. For the trainers, we have the man that I just mentioned, Kieran McGee, taking over the leading position here. And we're so used to seeing Claudio Gonzalez take top honors, but he's got some competition here.
Kieran can get it done. I made him a slight favorite here when we were talking about it at the beginning of the meet. So I'll stay with it. They're stabled here. He and the whole barn, his wife Kelly and everybody, that whole team. They put in a lot of work, a lot of time, and the results are showing right now. And I'm going to take them from here on out.
How about Miguel Vera having made an absolute blistering start to his meet here at Pimlico?
Big start. Just don't know if he's got the numbers.
Yeah.
That's the key for him.
Yeah, it's obviously very important in trying to gain the trainer title.
Yep.
So you have enough runners to get the wins. Let's talk about the Preakness coming up. The field for Preakness 146 is truly starting to take shape now. As I'll quickly run you through what I know are possible horses to come in here. Of course, Kentucky Derby Victor Medina Spirit most likely will be lining up. I actually love one of the quotes of Baffert saying, we're just getting to know these horses. The fact that Johnny Velasquez put him up the front and this runner just so gamely saw out the distance and held off any challengers. I think it surprised a lot of people in a good way. Of course, Bob Baffert, a staple here on the Maryland circuit, looking for his 8th Preakness win. We have Mandaloon most likely lining up here, very game second in the Kentucky Derby. Midnight Bourbon, Concert Tour coming in fresh. Ron Bauer, another fresh horse in Crowded Trade. Caddo River, also France Godina representing Japan, finished 6th in the UAE Derby, where he didn't get away as well and encountered a fair bit of trouble. Joel Rosario takes the ride once again. Ram, who won the opener on Kentucky Derby Day. Unbridled Honor for Todd Pletcher. It just feels like we're really starting to see these top horses picking up their interest to possibly make a trip down to Baltimore. So hopefully we'll get some more confirmation, but these are the possibles, and definitely a stellar field to go ahead with for Preakness 146. And talking about fields taking shape, the Black Eyed Susan, we had about 26 nominated for the Black Eyed Susan, including 4 graded stakes winner, 3 undefeated runners. Of course, we had Travel Column, the 2020 Grade 2 Golden Rod victress, and then the 2021 winner of the Fairground Oaks coming in here. Coach, Adventuring, really a couple of quite talented fillies that are pointing towards the Black Eyed Susan.
Absolutely. I saw Trish Bowman today. She's hard at work, our stakes coordinator down in the racing office. I'm sure fielding calls and trying to hustle horses in. But, right now, looking at that now, it's a solid field and ready, I think, shaping up for the Black Eyed Susan.
Yeah, absolutely. Massive credit goes to the racing office indeed. Gillian Tulloch, Trish Bowman, everyone working incredibly hard behind the scenes to put on this event. quite something to live up to from last year. I mean, that stretch duel between Authentic and Swiss Skydiver was something to behold. But let's hope we'll be treated to a special race once again this year, as this will do it for you and me, Keith.
Okay.
I'll be back later on in the afternoon with Callie to hopefully dish out some more winners. But thank you so much and good luck with your selections.
You got it, everybody. Good luck.